Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniatures. It's time for some more weekly painting progress. And hopefully, everybody out there is making some progress too. And looking back at videos over the past few years, I am absolutely flabbergasted as to how I manage to get so much painted. I know some of you have commented I'm just like a machine at times, and even I don't understand it. Not that most of it is all that great. I mean, sometimes there's some real spots of decent work. I feel like a lot of it is just okay. And I know I'm my own worst critic, but it is painted nonetheless. And I feel that, obviously, that should be celebrated as well. And I have, for the life of me, for the last few weeks that this dude has been sitting in front of me, been trying to figure out just what's going on with him. This was a model that came out of one of the frontiers that Papsicles ran. I think it was from the second one. Maybe it was from the first one, and I don't even remember anymore. It's like this armless robot-looking dude. Maybe there's arms underneath there, carrying like a big gun thing. I can't see any indication of any arms, and I don't like the color and how it came out. And I've been playing around with I think it's a Testors matte sealer, and I'm not super pleased with it. But then again, it just makes my painting look sloppier. And yeah, I know it's like at 3 times the magnification of what actually is in front of us. And from the table perspective, I guess it'd be okay. I don't know, it's just, I liked the design, and I was like, oh, that looks interesting. I'll print that guy out and figure out what's going on. And no, I never did figure out what's actually going on with him, but he's still kind of funky. Got all those straps and pouches and things. I think the choice of the blue tubing with the turquoise cowl may not have been the greatest idea, and I feel like there's like a plate or something on his head that maybe I need to go back and fix up. I feel like I just need to touch it up in general. I feel that way a lot. Sometimes I actually do, believe it or not. I don't ever, post it or show you guys what it looks like in the end, but it does happen a fair amount. Sometimes those weeks where I don't have a whole lot going on in terms of showing off finished models, that's when that tends to happen. And because I really enjoyed the last model I did from Martin Atelier for the Magical Girl Assault stuff, I went back and started working on some of the other models from the Japanese faction. And again, I feel there were some grays in there besides these blacks on her fatigues, and I can see some spots that I need to go back and fix, because again, far away distance doesn't look too bad. It looks kind of boring and plain, and everything just kind of blends together, which I'm not a big fan of, and that was not my intention. But you know what? We can always go back and fix it up. Yeah, I'm not pleased with the results looking at this on camera now, but that's okay. We can go back and fix things. What else? Starting in on one of the newer models from Raging Heroes' latest Samurai stuff. Believe, since this is the 2nd of October, at least that this is going up. It's October now, I know that. I don't know what day it is anymore, because my days are all mixed up for a variety of reasons right now. But this was part of their Samurai release, the second wave, and I kind of painted her like a counterpart to this guy. I thought they would match together kind of well. Are the colors exact? No. Do they need to be? Not really. I feel like I did a much nicer job on this guy than with her, but, that's okay. There's a couple things I definitely want to fix. I feel like her scabbards here, I wanted to paint them white, but it feels like it could just be a washed out metallic, and I don't feel they do the job. And again, you can see just my sloppy painting. And you can't even see the spots where I try to paint some pupils in those eyes. Everything just kind of blobs together the closer you get. Her eyes are lopsided and stuff. So this was weird. I'm not sure what was going on with this ribbon thing. And again, I know it's super sloppy and splotchy at times, and it's super zoomed in at this point. Like I said, I think I have it at about 3 times magnification. But it looks like this part goes down here. It looks like these two strands are attached. And I'll be honest, I'm not actually sure if they are or if they're just part of her kimono. I don't know. I painted them like the ribbon just to be different. Maybe they're part of it, maybe they're not. It wouldn't be the first time that there were some extra artifacts left over in these models that the sculptors kind of forgot where they were going, or maybe they were going to fix things and they just didn't get around to it. I can specifically think of one of the female lizard men they did from a while back. Had parts just kind of blending and melding in with each other, which was fun, but we painted it nonetheless. And again, you know what? From a distance, I don't think it's going to be that bad. It's super tabletop ready. I was going to say it's not super noticeable. So that's not too bad. And then, actually, I got a bunch of other stuff done here we'll go through real quick. And it's all from the Dragon Trappers Lodge. I figured I've had so many videos of theirs, and I never seem to ever get stuff done. So I've had a bunch of models, and it's funny because they all kind of ended up fitting the same theme. And they weren't from the same month for the most part. A couple of them were. But they're all dragon related. So I was trying to paint up one of the hoppers. Did the dinosaur hopper. Very basic and dull. I've seen much livelier ones online. I don't know if I've seen this dinosaur one in particular. Again, I feel like this tester's dull coat kind of really washed out some of the detail. I hate to say it, but the cheap stuff I got at the local hardware store, I feel like it did a better job. But I just haven't been. Maybe it's time to go. Of course, it's not the right season. Every time I go there, my wife wants to go buy flowers and plants. And she's got plenty as it is right now. So maybe springtime will go stock up, I guess. All right, we'll start small and get bigger. Not that they're that big this week. One of the Kobold Troopers from the Army release. And I really screwed up that eye, dang. From this side, you can't really see it. From the front, it's not as bad, I guess. With all his grenades there. He came out okay. Again, he's super tiny. It's super zoomed in. From a distance, I think it's fine. The reason I actually wanted to get these guys done was because October, besides having a very Scooby-Doo related set of models from the Dragon Trappers Lodge, which I'm sure we'll get to eventually, they were going to be redoing some of these Dragon Army guys. So I thought, I'm going to finish some so I can actually compare them in color versus just regular old prints. So this is one of the heavy artillery guys. Again, didn't do the best job on the eyes, the face. Otherwise, it's not bad. I kind of am set on what I want to do with the uniforms, at least. I feel these things should be bigger. I felt that way about a few of the Dragon Trappers Lodge releases. Not all, but a few. I am looking for a human model for scale. To me, the fact that he's carrying that big ol' cannon says he really should be a little bit bulkier. And some of the models that we've seen, and I'll show in a sec here, are actually more along the lines of what I want to see size-wise, but based on the artwork that we've seen for the new releases, which you'll see on this channel, so just keep watching, will seems to be pretty nicely updated. And they're not even that old. Here's one of the flight guys. So I snapped the base on him. That was fun. After I'd attached him to that flight stand. So I cheated and I put some glue on the tail and on the spot where I snapped it. And he seems pretty stable now. I'm annoyed that I am going to need to fix that spear tip. My dog is barking at a cat hanging out in the street again. We were going to get groceries today, and the cat literally just was taking a nap in the middle of the street. That was amusing. He sees me pulling out of the driveway, sits himself up, takes a look, puts his head down, and doesn't move until I'm like about a foot or two within running him over, and he just casually strolls out of the way. Stupid cat. So you can see our flight friend is a little bit bigger, but they're going to need some adversaries. So I've started to work on some of those Fiends of Encandriox. We've had a few months releases of those. I cannot recall what any of their official names were, but this is like one of the possessed berserker dudes. And size-wise, he feels much more substantial. He's on a 32mm base versus the heavy cannon guy I'll grab again. He's on a 25mm base. Very fun sense of movement. There's just a lot going on with this guy. I don't even know if that's supposed to be an eye in his chest, but we put one there. Him, I'm more happy with. Could it have been better? Oh, of course. He came out all right. When he's in focus. Yeah, you can see here, he barely reaches that eye in his chest, and this guy's kind of hunched over and stuff. So that's kind of interesting. Also painted up one of the boss models from that set. This was like the solo hero bad guy Dragonborn. They're all bad guy Dragonborns in this set, the Encandriac stuff. All kind of warped and possessed. It was a cool base. I tried to paint some lava on there. I don't know if the results... I'll let you guys be the judge. I feel like it looks like a nice ketchup and mustard swirl. I was going to do more with his claws and spikes to kind of match up with the berserker dude, but I didn't. I want to go back and fix up his eye real quick too. And those spikes, I got some smudged on those. It almost looks like a heroic Frazetta pose, or He-Man declaring that he has the power. But again, much bigger than their heroic counterparts. And now I got to dig out the medic. I did the medic a while back, and I really liked that one. They look like they had an updated sculpt on that guy for sure. And one I think he was probably my favorite, and I don't know if I even did a good job on him, but I really liked the sculpt. This was from September's Encandriox Fiends. This was like their lurkers or shadow skulks or something like that. Now, these guys had a bunch of different options with weapons, a bunch of different options with the bases. I thought they looked kind of neat with the tentacles coming out, and I kind of matched it up with the smoke coming off him. Why there's smoke coming off him beats me. Looks neat. Interesting pose, just interesting dynamics of everything on the base. I really like this one, and I can't even recall if I put him in a video, but at least he's up now. And if I could ever figure out what happened to that turntable I got, maybe I need to get a new one, because I don't know where it is now. I think my daughter might have snatched it. That's okay. Or maybe I tossed it. I don't know. It didn't work as well as I wanted. We'll have to put some more of these things up on YouTube on their shorts. It's nice to show these off. Other than me just spinning them crappily like this. I don't think it gives a good indicator of it. This is just a neat one. He's kind of shorter, but with that base and everything going on, gives him a little bit more height. So I started in on the big winged version of these dudes. And he's like significantly bigger. He's like on a 50mm base, I think. But just some fun variety of stuff this week. And I am trying my darndest not to go rush outside while we've got good weather. And I don't know if you guys can tell. It's actually daylight while I'm filming this, which is an absolute rarity these days. You know what? Geez, I got a fair amount of stuff done. Again, not that it may be the greatest, but it's finished and it's painted, and hopefully someday soon would be even better, it's going to see some use in some games. My first thought is the Doomed, and I keep thinking that these Dragonborn guys would be really fun to use in the Forbidden Psalm game, the Last War. I mean, it is like trench warfare, World War I type. You can have the Fiends of Enandria fighting these guys. I don't know. We'll do something with them. I'm going to use my magical girls to stave off the apocalypse and the Doomed. My hope is, as I am trying to work on reorganizing the room that I have been filming in, that we will get things straightened up in a much more manageable workflow so that I can get things filmed more quickly, have access to things more easily, and have a heck of a lot better lighting. And hopefully we'll go from there. I don't know. I've had such a hard time over the past few months, like just generally thinking about hobby stuff. It feels like there's just not a lot of like new and interesting things. I feel like a lot of the stuff that we're seeing, which has nothing to do with painting, but I'm just going to go on a rant and a ramble here for a sec. I feel like there's just not a whole lot happening. Like things are kind of stagnant. Like we had this big renaissance and explosion of everything, like with 3D printing. And while there's some really great shining lights out there making really cool and interesting models, I feel like the bulk of it, and maybe this was always the case, you know, with tabletop stuff, it's just, you know, kind of chasing the shadows of the footsteps of the giants, or, you know, rehashes of things that people use for D&D stuff. But, you know, I'm like looking at what I'm painting and what I enjoy, and it's kind of its own weird, funky thing. And sometimes that's, you know, good enough for me at least, what I like to keep an eye on. And if you guys ever have any recommendations for things, especially like physical stuff, I mean, if I really look back at like what we started with on this channel, everything was an actual physical release, but these days there's just not as much. There were so many small little indie companies out there making interesting, cool stuff, and some of them are still kicking around, but it feels like so many have switched over to 3D printing. And not that I can truly blame them, because number one, they don't have to worry about all the upkeep costs, shipping costs, you know, casting costs. You've got everything right there. You just send the files and you're pretty much good to go, and, you know, you get to move on. But I don't know, there's something, and like even with the current setup of releases, I mean, maybe I just need to be focusing more on like the little guys. I know, like, you know, Moonstone's doing stuff. You've got Trader's Galaxy in Australia doing stuff. Avatars of War is still releasing things every now and then. War Games Exclusive still does it. I mean, even those guys are doing, like, you know, all 3D printing. So, I don't know. We'll keep at it. But like I keep saying, if you guys know or see anything that looks interesting, by all means, please let me know. Send me suggestions. You can drop them in the comments. Send me a message on Discord, Instagram, social, whatever you want to do. I'm fairly easy to find and summon when the need arises. But otherwise, as always, we'll have those links if you guys want to print, paint, and show off any of this stuff yourselves. That would be awesome. I will be posting this stuff hopefully during the week when I actually have a free moment, if that ever happens. I'll put that hashtag weekly painting progress if you ever want to see any of this stuff. If you want to show off your own, by all means use it too, because I like to look at it. I do. What else? We'll still keep putting up those books on Fridays. And I think, like, this weekend I was totally busy and didn't even have a chance to post anything. I've got such a ridiculous backlog of, like, plastic model kits, Japanese kits, Chinese kits. I'm going to try to just do those on the weekends, I'm thinking, for the time being. And, like, because I know over the past few months with my kids doing all the things that kids do, I have not had the time to build up a backlog of videos like I used to have. So I'm hoping I can put some of that stuff up, and we'll start finding some interesting videos. And I will call it quits because it's almost hitting 20 minutes now, and I can smell something cooking, and it smells good. So with that said, then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.